Hi, this is Not Just Making the Tea, the podcast which discusses the realities of our career and life choices whilst made at school and college. We celebrate the parts that haven't gone to plan as much as those which have. With every chat, we plan to explore what life skills there are to be learnt and how they can influence and help us to succeed. I'm your host, Rachel Price, founder of Amali.com, the career website for young adults. So firstly, I'd like to say thank you for taking the time to listen to this podcast. I hope that you enjoy the experience and that you will continue to join me and my future guests on our journey. I really appreciate anyone who takes the time to listen, so please do like, subscribe, and send me any comments and feedback. I hope that you find these chats thought-provoking, entertaining, and hopefully they'll give you some positive vibes to your day. So on that note, let's get started with today's topic. 10 habits that are actually unproductive and how to change them. How many things do you do out of habit? Drink coffee every morning? Bite your fingernails when you're nervous? Check your emails 100 times a day? You go through the motions without a second thought because it's just what we do. Now, how many of those habits do you actually think are productive? While we'd like to say all our habits make us feel great, it's likely we also have some habits that are inhibiting our productivity and creativity. Habits are behaviours you perform on a regular basis, often subconsciously. If you're trying to break a habit, the first step is to identify what the habit is. Once you pinpoint what it is doing to make you less productive, actively work not to do it. Yes, it requires work, but I promise you'll get the extra time back in your day when you cut out any of the distractions. So here are the top 10 unproductive habits which I see people doing and how to change them. Number 1, checking your phone. I'm going to state the obvious, but it needs to be said. Checking your phone multiple times a day is not productive. Whether you're checking your email or opening Instagram for the 8th time before noon, it's not a good use of your time. Every time you stop what you're doing and pick up the phone, your brain has to switch off from the current task, focus on your phone, and then switch back to the task at hand. The key point is, unless you're waiting on an important call or email, set aside dedicated time each day to check your phone, especially during working hours. This will help you to stay focused. Number 2, prioritising someone else's needs over yours. Speaking of switching tasks, how many times do you drop what you're doing because someone asks you to do something else? Be it your parent, teacher, boss, or a co-worker. You put your work on the back burner to take on their ask. While you may see this as being helpful and a good person, it can distract you from the work that you need to get done. Instead of immediately saying yes and jumping to the task when someone asks for your time, ask when they need it completed by and schedule time to work on it appropriately. The key point is to remember always to do what you've said you will and in the timeline agreed. Number 3, choosing perfection over completion. Winston Churchill said it best, perfection is the enemy of progress. Continuing to work on a project until it's perfect isn't always the best use of your time. While there are occasions that call for that level of detail, often done well is better than perfect. Spending those extra hours on minor tweaks that only you will notice is not a great use of your time when you could be moving on to the next item of your to-do list. The key point is to know when you need to edit your work with a fine-tooth comb and know when it's time to wrap it up. Number 4, delaying decisions. How many times have you ummed and ahed over making a choice, only to delay the decision until a later date? I've taken over 6 weeks to buy a car or just one visit to buy a house. There's no right or wrong length of time in which you must make a decision, but just don't leave it too long. If you do, you might not actually really need it. Sometimes you do need a night to sleep on an important decision, but usually you're going to make the same decision today that you'll make next week. Delaying a decision in hopes of finding a better or a different option only adds more to your plate and takes up valuable brain space that you could be using to work on other tasks. Trust your gut when making decisions. The key point is to know when to pull the trigger and know when you need to put a pin in it. Just to let you know, I loved owning both my car and the house, even though they were completely different decision-making processes. Number 5, working at your least productive times. You know when you do your best work. Whether you're a morning person, a night owl, or midday is when you power through your work. Trying to focus and get things done during your least productive hours is just not efficient. If you're a morning person, schedule your more difficult and time-consuming tasks in the morning, and then spend your afternoon concentrating on easier or more administrative tasks. The key point is that working against your natural workflow is counterintuitive, and is a huge waste of time. Number 6. Attending meetings that could have been emails. This seems more relevant now during our work from home period. We've all been there. Walking out of a meeting or signing off as a Zoom call wondering why you've wasted an hour of your time for something that could have been discussed over email. Sometimes these are one-off meetings, but other times they're reoccurring meetings on your calendar. If you're finding yourself losing productivity because of unnecessary meetings, send an email beforehand to make sure there are actual points to be discussed. If not, propose cancelling the meeting and conversing via email if something comes up. If you can't forgo the meeting, find a way to make it more productive. The key point is to remember, always set an agenda before you meet so that you can stay on track, and make sure that when you're walking away, you're checking something off your to-do list or have any questions answered. Number 7. Comparing yourself to others. With the ever-growing expectation of social media, whether it is posting about your amazing life or checking and liking posts on Facebook, Instagram, or the latest platform, consider the following. How much time have you spent wondering why your friend got the promotion, or why your classmate seems to have their life together more than yourself? Probably more than you'd like to admit. There is no benefit in comparing yourself to others. There is no set timeline for when you should be celebrating big life events like promotion, marriage, or having children. Any time you spend deep diving into Instagram profiles and wondering why someone else has what you want is time wasted. The key point is to focus on what you can control to get where you want to go and take breaks from social media. You won't be missing anything. Number 8. Prioritizing your work over health. If you're neglecting your health, you're not bringing your best self to work. When you don't feel your best, you won't perform as well, and therefore your work will be hindered. This should be apparent, but we've all been guilty of staying up late to finish the projects or skipping the gym for a meeting. Sleep well, exercise, and fuel your body with nutrient-rich foods. The key point is always to make your physical, emotional, and mental health a priority. This includes sleep because working whilst tired is the worst. Number 9. Reinventing the wheel. If something's been done before, ask for help. Don't spend time spinning your wheels if you can gain insight from someone else. Asking for help is always an option. You don't get bonus points for reinventing the wheel. Whether you're trying to start your side hustle, navigating a difficult situation at work or school, or you literally cannot solve the problem in front of you, the majority of the time there's someone else who's done it, been through it, or can offer you words of wisdom. The key point is to be big enough to ask for help and advice. And finally, number 10, overloading on information. Sometimes less is more, especially when it comes to information. Our worlds are constantly flooded with news, content and knowledge, from valued resources online and on TV to a constant stream of social media posts. It can be overwhelming, causing unnecessary stress and diverting our attention from what is important. While I agree it is smart for you to be informed, be smart in what you consume. Set designated times to watch the news, read your favourite daily or weekly email, and scroll your social media feeds. The key point is whilst you may not be in control of what is happening in the world, you are 100% in control of what and how much information you consume. So that's our topic for today. I hope you found some points of use and interest. For more information, check out the resources within the Learning Hub on amali.com. Additionally, go to amali.com and subscribe for updates and activities on topics aimed to help us all be more successful in life. Thank you once again for listening, keep safe and smile always.